Hi, everybody. It is Tuesday, February 1st, and I haven't posted a video in a while. I went off the grid last Thursday, and I was in Death Valley for 10 days. Um, had a great 10 days. Well, I had a great 8 days. And then Saturday, I got stupid, and I was already too tired, and I opened up the garbage bag that held those clothes that were contaminated with the waterproofing chemical. And I thought that I was going to wash some of them out and hang them up. And that backfired because it ended up, creating, it made me sick. And then I still had to go through the rest of the night. And I did my normal stuff. I went around, did my rounds. I went up to the apartment. I took my shower. I had something to eat. But when I got back in my van and laid down and tried to sleep, I was just reacting. My lips were swollen. My throat was fine, but my lips were swollen. My face was burning. And I was just very emotional. And had a really rough night, similar to nights that I have had before after either mold or chemical exposures. Crying and basically begging God to take me to heaven so that I can be somewhere safe, so that that's it right there. And so obviously God didn't answer that prayer. And I almost feel ashamed to admit that I prayed that prayer because I used to pray it a lot and I haven't prayed it in a long time. And anyway, Sunday morning, some campers I had talked to, and Saturday night, a church group came to my door with a banana bread. And I probably looked pretty rough because he was like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, I had a really bad night." And, he went over and told his uncle, and his uncle, I think he's a pastor, maybe some kind of leader. Anyway, he came over to my van and prayed with me, and they promised to keep praying for me. And that was amazing. And I got to, share the gospel with the guy that brought the banana bread and just tell him that, yes, this is hard and this is rough. And there are times that I want to give up, but ultimately I don't, because, Jesus gave me this life, and when I die and look him in the eye, I want him to say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." I don't want him to say that I wasted my life or squandered it. So that was good. I mean, that's just one example of God using my brokenness, using my suffering, using my pain for his glory, right? To further his kingdom. And I really believe that. You know, um, Jesus suffered, and he said that we'll suffer too if we follow him. And I do believe that too. Although I'm like, okay, all right, I don't know how much more I can do here, God. I need a little break. I need a little relief. And so what I ended up doing after I got done with my rounds and stuff on Sunday was I took everything out of my van. I threw some stuff away. I sprayed things down. I set my stuff in the sun. Um, because I was going to take a nap, and it just felt too icky in there. So I must have worn maybe the clothes. I don't know what I did. I didn't know what I was reacting to. And I was having a very hard time keeping my emotions together. I was crying a lot. So finally I did all that, and then I put everything back in the van, and I decided that I was going to drive to Vegas to my safe hotel. So I called, made the reservation, and it took me, Mesquite. I left the apartment after calling the hotel at 5:30. I didn't get into this hotel room till 10. So it was a long trip because I don't drive very fast in the van, especially at night. I don't drive very fast in the van. It's still a big vehicle for me. I'm still learning how to feel comfortable in it and park it and all of that. And then on the way here, my debit card got denied. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on there. I know I have money. Well, I called on Monday morning, and my card had been compromised. Some sort of foreign whatever tried to take money out. So they had to cancel my card. They're sending me a new card to Death Valley, but that means that I don't have access to my money for 7 to 10 days. So that was stressful on Monday. I had to make a bunch of calls and finagle some things and, um, to try to figure this out, to how I'm going to survive for 7 to 10 days without access to my debit card. When the reason I come to Vegas is to shop, and I have to pay for the hotel and I have to pay for gas. And so I think I've got that figured out. And I had some help from my friend Gloris. Thank you, Gloris. Oh my gosh. And the bank was amazing too. They helped me a lot. So yeah, so I stayed another day today so that I could get my groceries because I still hadn't done that. And I'm just going to play it by ear. I might stay another day. I'm not sure. Like I said, it's Tuesday. I don't really have to, I mean, really what I have agreed to is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So anything I do above and beyond that is, extra. And they're so good with me. They're amazing. The Park Service and it's the fees office that I deal with, and everybody who works there is so great to me, especially Gabriel, my direct over. Look, I'm getting teared up because he's been very, very kind. And so, I just tell them when I'm leaving the park and I tell them when I'm coming back. And so I don't know. I might even go back and rest at Texas Springs for a day or two before I go back up to Mesquite. I'm not sure what I'm doing. Oh, but my friend Betty's leaving, and I'm sad about that because I'm going to miss her. It's been nice to have, company up there. Not that I don't have company, because the campers are company. I mean, I get to talk to a lot of different people. So, but I'm tired, and I did a sauna on Monday too. And I think I might have overdid it a little because I feel dehydrated and just exhausted. And I don't know what the future holds. In my heart, I don't want to keep up what my friend Evie calls the endless camping trip forever. My desire is to have safe housing, but it's very hard. As a matter of fact, I just read something on Facebook today about a woman who is requesting, medically that they end her life because she can't find safe housing. And it's a terrible, terrible problem because, I mean, basically the housing that I could afford I could afford like a small little studio apartment, which would be fine for me if it wasn't attached to a big building of people who are using things like Glade plugins, dryer sheets, so in order for me to be safe, I have to be away from that stuff. Well, that means maybe a house outside of town, which is not something that I can afford right now. I mean, the way the market is and everything, I would need a roommate. So if you're an MCS person and you're interested in renting a house somewhere in the boonies, in the desert with me, let's talk because that's what I need. I mean, we've also talked about a community, and I have a friend who is working on and thinking about a community of people like me. And that would be amazing too, but ultimately also, we need treatment. We need access to the type of health care that is going to cure us, heal us. What I really need are these expensive tests. There's this one, I think it's called DNA Connections or something. It's about $600, and they test your DNA and they tell you about all your co-infections and stuff like that. And then once you have that information, you can better target, what you're doing. Right now, what I'm doing is I akin to putting on a blindfold and throwing darts at a dartboard, because I kind of do a little this, a little that, like, oh, I take oregano oil to treat underlying infections, but I don't really know what they are, like I'm pretty sure I have Lyme, and I probably have all these other things like Babesia and whatever, and I definitely have something wrong. I have sinus. It's like right in here. Something's wrong in my sinus. And I had root canals up here. I had all my teeth up here pulled because the pain of this was pushing down on those root canals, and it was absolutely unbearable. So now I have no teeth up here, but I still have the pain up here. And the dentist told me that that might be a possibility, but I knew that those root canals were harboring infection, so I wanted to get them out. I got all my fillings out, but I still have this pain and pressure right here in my sinus. I probably have like a mold ball up in there or something from breathing in Stachybotrys mold for 8 years, Who knows, But right now I only have Medicare, which doesn't cover very much, so I don't even want to go to the doctor, So I don't know. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm facing now, At least I'm doing better, but I'm not satisfied yet. I maybe I should be. Maybe I should just be satisfied with doing better, but I'm still achy. I still have pain and pressure here. I still have pain and pressure in my lower back on the right, which I think is one of my kidneys. Obviously I still have MCS pretty bad. And I think there was a time in my life where the person that I was, if I would have gotten healed, if I would have gotten, my health back, I would have just used that to, work on getting security, right? I would have worked on buying a house and saving money and putting it in retirement. Now my motivation is different. I want to help others with all my heart, I want to help addicts like I was an addict. I want to help abused women like I was an abused woman. I want to help other people who are suffering from mold and chemical sensitivities. I want to do that. I feel like I want to unite people. I feel like there's, and then there's the big thing that I want to do, which is spread the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ, right? Because this life might be misery for me right now, right? It might be misery for the end, till the end of my days, but I have something bigger to look forward to because I'm going to eternity in paradise with my Savior, And it's like that story in the Bible about that guy Lazarus, who was a poor beggar, who sat outside the rich man's gates begging and was sickly his whole life, right? And he died, and the rich guy died, and the rich guy is burning in hell, and he says to Lazarus, can you just put your finger in the cool water and cool my tongue? But he couldn't, because there's a big chasm between where Lazarus is and where the rich guy is. And then afterwards, the moral is that in this life, Lazarus had terrible things, but now in the afterlife, he has wonderful things. And then you had good things in this life, but now your eternity isn't so great because you're burning in hell. So, I mean, I don't really like talking about hell, but, and I know not everybody believes that, but I believe it. I believe for me that I'm going to be in eternity, that I'm not going to have to worry about, being tortured by chemicals or burned by fire or any of that. I believe that I'm going to live, in paradise with my Savior. And that is the hope that keeps me going, And the fact that if I can help at least one person to see, that, we're all sinners, right? We're all sinners. And not one of us is good enough to stand in front of a holy God. We're just not. I can't earn it. I tried to earn it, right? I tried really hard. I thought I did everything right, I went to Bible study. I went to church. I paid tithe. I was good to this person, good to that person, But no, I was doing all that, striving, because I was trying to earn heaven, but I can't. But there's one who did earn heaven for me, and he suffered for me. And all I have to do is believe in him. That's all I have to do is believe in him and trust him. And I do trust him. I do. And I do have faith in him, and I have faith in his word. And I listen to it. I have a hard time reading sometimes. My brain gets all scrambly and I can't pay attention. But what I do is I listen to it on Audible. And then sometimes I'll even slow it down so that I can really hear it, you know. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be alive, and I have a message, and the message is don't give up. Even if you're sick, even if you want to. And I think it's okay to want to give up sometimes. I mean, Saturday night, I wanted to give up, and I was crying and I wanted to give up. But I think that faith means that I walked through it, right? I walked through it. I didn't give up. So there you go. There's the update of what's going on. And oh, yeah, I forgot to mention the van. The van still has a light on. It's the transmission. They still haven't fixed the transmission. And I'm still talking to them, and they have promised in writing through an email that they have ordered me a transmission and that they're going to get it fixed as soon as that transmission comes in, which they're saying 2 weeks from now. And so I'll have to come back to Vegas in 2 weeks, and so they can fix the transmission. And when they do that, I will feel pretty satisfied with, what happened with the van, even though it was hard and it was a lesson. But even that, it was, it was I brought that on myself by my fear and everything. So, okay, I think that's everything. And, I love you. I'm praying for you. If you make a comment and I don't respond right away, please don't be offended. I will get on there and try to respond when I can. But obviously, when I'm out in Death Valley, I don't have internet. I don't have phone service. I don't have electricity or anything like that. So, yeah. And if there's any Moldivores who are watching this, you can email me at nevergiveuphope2014@gmail.com, and I have written up a little like a letter that I will send you about Death Valley. If you are interested in coming to Death Valley, I can tell you what I've learned about it and what has worked for me. And I'm not willing to pick you up at the airport because it wouldn't help you anyway. You need a car in Death Valley, so you'd need to rent a car to come to Death Valley. But there are other things that I would be willing to do. So if you're interested in coming to Death Valley, email me and I will see if I can help you. If there's anything that I can do to help you succeed, I will. Okay. Alrighty, everybody. So like, subscribe, and share, and keep praying, keep the faith.